In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about water, something we have a lot of here in Scotland. Some would say too much. I'm going to be going low and high to learn about this most precious Scottish resource. Hello everybody, how are you doing? Welcome to today's episode from here in Scotland. It is an amazing couple of days here because there has been a heat wave. Yesterday, temperature records were set. It was 31 degrees here in Scotland. In Edinburgh, I must say, it was 31 degrees, and that is an all-time record. Absolutely crazy, right? I can't remember ever feeling heat like that before. Today the temperature's dropped a little bit, but it's still very warm and humid. So places like this in the forest, it just feels like we're in a tropical country right now. 24 degrees it is today. That is unbelievable. They've been giving out all kinds of warnings about what we should be doing to keep cool, because let me tell you, at home it was absolutely unbearable. Our houses here in Scotland are not set up to deal with the heat, so we had to get out. And the theme of today's vlog, today's episode, is actually water, because it's very much central to the way that we cool down and live our lives. And in Scotland it is a fixture, it is a feature of our landscape. So today we've come a walk up to a place called Alva Glen Falls, and we're hopefully going to go for a wee bit of a swim in the amazing waters here to cool down for one. And since today's episode is all about water, I'm going to be running today's video in partnership with an iconic Scottish water brand, Highland Spring. I'll tell you more about that in a little while, but today we're just going to first of all go and enjoy this hot, humid, muggy weather by getting in the water basically and cooling ourselves down. And the gateway to the Scottish Highlands, we've just come past a town called Callander down there. The sun's come out, I can't believe it. This Scottish summer has been absolutely insane. I love it. The water, you know what, it's not too cold. It's fine up here. Alright guys, you just missed an epic moment. Slipped on the rocks and went straight in the water. So I already know it's not that cold, I can get in, it's fine. My camera almost went for a swim, which is not good. Oh, that's such a good way to refresh. To get chilled out after what has been a really unbelievably hot couple of days. I think this water must have been slightly heated after a couple of days of the sunshine. Wow, what a beautiful part of woodland this is, coming through here. The Brackland Falls are about half a mile, I would say, from the car park to the falls itself, right? Usually fine, but on a day like this, when it is so hot, it is a wee bit challenging. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you about water. Also, one of the other cool things about Scotland and water, one of our main resources, is the fact that around the world and even around the UK, when it gets as hot as it is now, a lot of places end up having like kind of mini droughts. But up here in Scotland we definitely don't have that problem. How do we protect our valuable sources of water that we have here that flows down these rivers, but not just that, also in the rock, in the ground? We have got so much water here, and it is, as I say, it's amazing, pure, clean water. And as I said at the start of the video, I'm going to be meeting up with Highland Spring next because I want to talk to them about water. But it's not just about the resource on the ground, that is part of it, but it's also about our health, because I know I do not drink anywhere near enough water. It's a fact, and it's something that is actually quite serious that I have been neglecting for too long. So I'm really glad that I'm going to be learning about that and what I should be doing in terms of hydration. But there's other interesting aspects to the story as well, because like plastic bottles, there is obviously a lot of talk about plastic, single-use plastic in particular, and how we are going to be using that going forward. So there's a lot of questions for me to be asking Highland Spring when I meet them. So
That is going to be the next part of the video, and I'm excited that you guys are going to come along with the journey with me. I'm fascinated to learn more about our water resource here in Scotland and how companies like Highland Spring are taking it out the ground sustainably and producing it for us to drink. Here in Scotland we actually have amazing water from the tap to drink. So when we're at home we tend not to be buying bottles of water here in Scotland, but it's not like that everywhere. I used to live in London for 4 years and I can tell you I did not enjoy drinking the tap water there, so I had to buy a lot of water. And for me, buying Highland Spring was almost like a taste of home that I used to do as a ritual kind of daily basis. Reminded me of home. I love Scottish water. Oh, we've come out of the woods now. What an absolutely magic spot this is. So for this magic resource that we have in an abundance here in Scotland, how are we taking it out of the ground? Are we drinking enough of it? And how are we managing sustainability going forward? Those are all questions I've got for Highland Spring, and that's coming right up in the next part of this episode.
My first encounter with Highland Spring was actually a few months ago at their hydration pop-up at Glasgow's Central train station. It was here that I learned that I could be one of millions of people in the UK who do not drink enough water.
Now drink the water. Importantly, it needs to get recycled.
I was then invited to visit the Highland Spring headquarters in Perthshire, where they have a bottling plant, but what I was really interested in was driving in their 4x4s up the Ochil Hills to the Highland Spring source.
Alright, we've made it to the top of the hill and the cairn. This is the home of Highland Spring. This is all where your kind of catchment area is.
Basically, that's our catchment area from roughly, see where that building is away across there?
Yeah.
Just make a line roughly around about there. Starts right here,
Yeah.
and our catchment area sort of ends just over that hill there.
Has this hill got a name, or is it?
Kinpaw.
Kilpaw?
Kinpaw.
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 During my time at the source, I learned about how Highland Spring looks after the environment, how the rainwater takes 15 years to filter through to the bedrock from which they pump it back out, and that they only take 3% of the available water that falls as rainwater on their 2,000 acres of land. After visiting Highland Spring's first ever borehole, I wanted to talk to somebody at the company about recycled plastic, so I took a trip inside their headquarters.
I just want to be kind of upfront as possible about, you know, where like a lot of people are saying recyclable nowadays, but I think people don't understand exactly what that means, where the plastic is actually coming from, and it'd just be good to kind of get a professional's perspective on where you get the plastic and how it's recycled.
Yeah, and I can certainly take you through that. So we use PET. It's a chemical name, polyethylene tetrathalate. So it's a polymer. Virgin PET effectively is derived from petroleum. It's a byproduct, or the ingredients of it is a byproduct of petroleum. So virgin PET obviously is using a natural resource. Natural resource isn't endless.
Yeah.
So, you know, we should be stopping using across the board as many virgin polymers as possible.
Yep.
Now, you know, the fact is you're always going to have some kind of virgin input at some stage, because even if you've got 100% recycling, you've still got the need for topping up, you know, just in pure tonnage terms. But effectively, you know, recycled PET, so rPET, is very much less carbon footprint of virgin PET. So some of the statistics, 100% rPET bottle, so say our eco bottle, only has about 21% of the global warming potential. So global warming potential is a universal term, a bit like carbon footprint. It takes carbon footprint and adds to it. So it's only about 21% the global warming potential of a virgin bottle.
Okay.
So it's a massive benefit.
Yeah.
As far as rPET, so virgin PET is only itself about half the carbon footprint of steel or aluminium cans.
Is there anything you're going to be able to do in future to kind of encourage people to actually recycle the bottles? I know there's things like government programs going to maybe come into effect where they're going to pay people with a 20p a bottle or something like that.
Deposit return is likely to be in Scotland within the next 1.5 to 2 years.
Yeah.
In England, probably another 1.5 to 2 years after that.
Yeah.
And actually, as a company, Highland Spring, what we're saying is, we've been working with the Scottish Government now for a couple of years, because, it is a behavioural change.
Yeah.
It's a carrot or a stick.
Yeah.
And certainly with the, to get to 90% recycling rate, which is the target, it will need a massive behavioural change. And what we're saying is, if it works and we can make it work simply, with the least disruption to industry or consumers themselves, then we are working with the government to try and make sure that it's the best possible scheme and gets the best possible recycling rate. Yeah, I think we're in a good position as far as our products and our packaging, but obviously there's lots more that we can do. But passion is there by Highland Spring to do that, so I think it's good.
Well, it's great to see that everything seems to be going in the right direction for sure. So awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I appreciate that a lot.
No problem. Okay.
Cheers now. Have a good day. Cheers now. Bye.
Okay, bye.
The trip with Highland Spring wasn't quite over yet, as they took me to see a natural beauty spot close to their water source where we could see some more waterfalls and eat lunch.
So the guys from Highland Spring have taken us to a place here which is on the other side of the hill from where they bottle the water, right? But essentially it's roughly the same source of water, right? And it's called Alva Glen. It's absolutely beautiful here. There's a massive drop down there to the water. You can probably just hear it trickling away. But we're going to go up to a waterfall and then have a picnic. Great way to end the day and to see a different sight. Honestly, like a tropical rainforest here. It's giving me deep Amazon vibes. I was in Amazon a few years ago and again, really remembering it from this trip. It's extremely hot and humid coming through here as well with all this forest. I'm going to actually take my jumper off in a minute because I'm sweating. I just can't believe there's such a beautiful place right here that I never knew about. Learning so many new things about Scotland all the time, thanks to trips like this. If I look back to recent trips that I've done in big cities that are hot and sweaty, like London, but actually last year in New York, I got really, really ill through dehydration in New York City. I got heat stroke. I actually passed out, right? Purely because I wasn't drinking enough water. And actually that also happened in Europe as well to me. So it kind of means that I don't learn, right? But it's also a case of, it is difficult to survive just using public drinking water taps and stuff that are pretty much non-existent in some places. You have to buy plastic bottles. And when you do that, because you're going to have to keep hydrated. Don't get sick like I got sick. I highly recommend it's Highland Spring because I really enjoy it.